TWM podcast.
We kick things off by talking about the tournament action that is going on, the final two matches in the Impact World Title Contenders Tournament. Ace Austin replacing Ken Shamrock. He beat Rhino, and then Michael Elgin defeated Sami Callihan. The first thing to note, really, in the World Title Tournament is Ace Austin replacing Ken Shamrock because he got battered by Michael Elgin last week. Probably the key thing to note here is it's very hard sometimes for like X Division wrestlers to make the jump up to the heavyweight division, and when they do, usually when they're good, they're great. And if it doesn't work out, then they kind of fizzle out. But for me, watching this match, Ace Austin is very believable in the heavyweight division. They've got a hot prospect on their hands here.
I really liked him. I like him in general. I would be happy to see him in the final.
Yeah, I would like to see him. Like he's had a little run, and also they're feeding off the fact that he can keep saying that he's the last person to beat Tessa Blanchard, and also it's a Healy shitty thing because it was a ladder match. Doesn't really count, but still. So yeah, I'm really happy he goes through. I'm hoping that Ace Austin wins this tournament, and that leads to him down the line facing Tessa Blanchard. We also had Callihan and Michael Elgin. They had like a great Japanese strong style match, and I'll know you'll like this because I'm combining two of Kimmy's loves here: Sami Callihan and the art of selling. Because
he's my baby, he knows what I like and he does it,
yes.
And I love it.
He sold his ankle like a fucking boss, and he was injured 2 weeks ago, and he's still selling it, almost as if he's fought an MMA fighter that has like shattered his ankle, because that's what happened.
The way to do it.
Yeah, and he sold it brilliantly. Like so many people would have sold it for a bit, and then like just let it be, but he sold it for the entire match. So I just want to give some kudos to Sami Callihan. Speaking of Sami Callihan, his former stablemate OVER, after another loss to Crazy Steve, they disbanded. Madman Fulton left the group after an argument with Jake Chris. Now, for weeks we've been saying that they're doing nothing with OVE. It looks like they're going to switch people. Instead, they've just broke them up. Is this the right decision? Or
I don't think so, but I'm not going to judge until I see more.
That is a good point, because they did have Joseph P. Ryan appear, and also they're doing the whole thing with Crazy Steve. So
I don't agree with it, but I'm very interested to see what direction they take this.
But which part of OVE would you prefer to see become the cancel perverts? Because Joey Ryan needs to save this gimmick. So would you rather have the Chris dressing up in the sweaters and shorts, or do they do the typical having the giant man cancel people by force and be the bodyguard for Joseph P. Ryan?
I want to see the Steve. I want to see the Steve option, because you don't expect it. I like the unexpected.
You know why?
Surprise me, keep me entertained.
What I want that is if you get more people, if you get both the Chris in that thing, it becomes a bit more like Right to Censor.
Ah.
And we've needed a gimmick like that for a while, and I feel like they could do a modern version of that with these guys, because you could have... I just think it would work better than having Madman Fulton, and you could put him with Crazy Steve. This match was weird, though, because Crazy Steve kind of got that John Cena booking. He got beat down for the majority of the match and then just won with one move. Also, I got mildly annoyed at Josh Matthews, to the shock of absolutely no one. When Madman Fulton said he quit OVE, and then Josh Matthews went, "Madman Fulton quits OVE, what does this mean?" It means he quits, Josh. Like,
he annoyed me throughout the whole show, to be honest. Like, he was just making really stupid comments. It was kind of like he didn't really understand what he was watching.
He's trying to be like the nerdiest face, because he can't like do like the inside baseball comments with Don Callis like he normally does. Like they kind of did the Joey Styles Cyrus stuff, obviously, because Don Callis. And with Madison Rain is just an out and out heel commentator, so he's got to play like the nerdy face, but he comes off more annoying as a good person. So if he just sticked with what he was, which is like a straight-laced sports announcer, he'd be fine. But yeah, you are right, he's getting mildly more annoying in this role. But then again, it might just be... It depends. If you're stuck in the house with your wife for 10 weeks and you have to do commentary over wrestling every single week.
Yeah.
We seem to get a new formation of the tag team in the women's division. It looks like that they're going to team up Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz. That's a fun tag team because
It's interesting.
they're both very, very good. So I'm intrigued by that. And also, it pays into, if you checked out our TWM Talks from last week where Rosemary spoke to Shirley, that she wants to see the women's tag belts come back. I would not be against it, because I think they've got enough people there.
Yeah, I agree.
So maybe you got like Nevaeh and Kimberly, you could have Rosemary and Havoc, you've got Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz, and there's plenty more there. Speaking of a friend of TWM, we see Rosemary back at the bar, and she puts the moves on Johnny Bravo. He is not a fan. I will say this now, I will happily take Johnny Bravo's place with Rosemary.
Calm your old tits. It's your girlfriend's birthday.
It is. This is true. But I did write this on Tuesday. Was it before? It's this weird crush thing. Like, for some reason it's the goth aesthetic with the face paint. When it's sans face paint, it kind of drops down a little bit. That face paint seems to. I'm weird. I know I am. It's a weird thing. It's the goth girl with face paint that seems to make her one of my favourites. I don't really want to say this next thing after saying that. I wrote down big meat men slapping meat, which is something you don't really want to say after saying that you fancy another person.
Oh my God, say that again really fast.
Big meat men slapping meat, as Bar and TJP go over Triple XL. TJP's not a big meat man, but the other lot were. Larry D has been really impressive. I'm a big fan of his. He's got a solid hand to work with AC Romero. Moose over Suicide for the TNA World Title. Another really good match. I just said they just have this match every week, and I think we'd be happy because they just work really well together. Yeah. So, Willie Mack went over Johnny Swinger for the X title, and Johnny Swinger turned on Mack, and Chris Bay joined in the beatdown. Chris Bay using the elderly to try and get an X Division title shot. And we get with the North, with Josh Alexander being sad that he's not having proper matches. And our fave 2 segments on Impact collide because Cody Deaner turns up, because they're all in Canada, turns up at the Battle Arts Academy where the North are. My favourite bit on this was them just going, "How do you know we were here?" And Cody goes, "Well, you've been on TV the last 2 weeks and tell us where we are." He just goes, "Oh, okay, fair point." Which I love when they do that, when they're like, "Well, no, you're on TV, we can see what you're doing." It just pops me. Yeah. Next week, we got the Deaner compound, and Cody Deaner's got a mystery partner, and I want it to be a literal bear.
A bear, yeah.
Yeah, I want Ethan Page to be chased around by a literal bear for 20 minutes while Cody Deaner and Josh Alexander wrestle. Just tell me that would not be comedy gold. Dangerous, but comedy gold nonetheless.
Maybe not tone down the literal bear and maybe have someone in the bear costume.
No, I want literal bear or nothing. Bear or nothing.
Bear or nothing. Okay.